Greetings, beloveds. Welcome and peace be with you. I'm Reverend Mitzi and I'm so very glad that you are here. Something within you is calling you to watch. I'm very, very grateful that you answered that divine call. Welcome to Unity of Tempe online. So how was your Thanksgiving, beloveds? Ours was lovely. You know, even in this year of 2020, there is so very much for which we can be grateful. Now today, it's Advent Sunday. Yes, it's the first Sunday of Advent. Can you believe it? Now, I don't know about you, but for me, right after Halloween, time seems to go on warp speed until around January the 2nd. And that seems to be happening in this very unusual year too. So to get us into the festive mood, we're going to have a wonderful song by our beloved Zephyrin. This is a song that she created for us last year to match my theme of last year at Christmas, if you remember it. So some of you will remember that song, and I invite you to sing along. I'll be right back after the song.
Sing a song of Christmas. Sing it soft, sing it strong. Sing a song of Christmas, and your heart will sing along. Let's do that right and wrong this time. Here we go. Sing a song of Christmas. Sing it right, sing it wrong. Sing a song of Christmas, and your heart will sing along. Christmas is the time when we are all reminded generosity is our own gift. Giving is so easy when we think of pleasing someone we can easily uplift. Sing a song of Christmas. Let's be kind, let's be strong. Sing a song of Christmas, so every heart will sing along. So every heart will sing along. You know, Christmas is the time when we are all reminded generosity improves the world. Giving is so easy when we think of pleasing every single boy and every girl. Sing a song of Christmas. Let's be kind, let's be strong. Sing a song of Christmas, so every heart will sing along. Every heart will sing along.
So, wasn't that wonderful? And Advent Sunday. Yes, Advent, a word we hear a lot around this time of year. But do you know the history and the significance of Advent? For many of us, there may be confusion as to what Advent actually is. Now, in this message, which is entitled Advent, History and Hope, we'll explore the background behind Advent and how an understanding of the spiritual significance of it can enhance our spiritual journeys. So, when is Advent? Well, it begins 4 Sundays before Christmas and it ends on Christmas Eve. It overlaps with what is commonly thought of in Western culture as the Christmas season. Advent is a time leading up to the beginning of the true season of Christmas, which, if you followed any of my messages last year, you'll know that that true season begins on Christmas Eve, because that is the official time of Christmas tide, and that time lasts for 12 days, ending on January the 6th, Epiphany, King's Day. So thus, the song about the 12 days of Christmas is not about it leading up to Christmas Day. It's about what happens up to January the 6th. But back to Advent. What is it? We know that there is Christmas tide and Advent, but what is this thing called Advent? Well, traditionally, it is the time of preparation for Christmas, the time of preparation for Christmas tide, for both the celebration and the birth of the Christ child and the return of the Christ at the second coming. Where does the word Advent come from? Advent is derived from the Latin word adventus, meaning coming or arrival. Advent in the Christian tradition anticipates the coming of Christ from three different perspectives. His birth in Bethlehem, the birth of the Christ in us, and the second coming. When did Advent originate? Well, for centuries, Advent has been a time of spiritual reflection, as well as cheer and anticipation. And while it's not known exactly when Advent began, it's thought to have been observed beginning around 480 AD. Now, in early days, Advent lasted from November 11th until Christmas Day. It was considered a pre-Christmas season of Lent, a time to devote to prayer and fasting. While fasting is no longer a part of Western Advent practices, the Orthodox Eastern Church continues to hold the tradition of fasting for 40 days before Christmas. My goodness, I'm grateful that we don't do that, because imagine missing out on all those yummy Christmas goodies. By the 6th century, Advent was tied to the coming of Christ. But the coming they had in mind was not baby Jesus in Bethlehem, but his second coming, depicted in the book of Revelation. And it wasn't until later that the Advent season was linked to the Nativity and Christ's birth. Practices associated with Advent include, but are in no way limited to, keeping an Advent calendar, lighting an Advent wreath, reading an Advent daily devotional, decorating a Christmas or Chrismon tree. Yes, a Chrismon tree. And what is that? Well, I'll tell you in just a moment. And of course, special music. Advent calendars, well, they were first used by German Lutherans in the 19th century. I remember as a child always being given an Advent calendar by my grandmother who raised me. And I remember the excitement, how we would sit together and open each day, and behind those windows would be a festive image, something to do with the season. Now today, Ron and I usually get an Advent calendar every year from Trader Joe's, which contains chocolates. The chocolates are so tiny that we often save up days to open at once for more enjoyable devouring. Advent devotionals, they are readings which support us in preparing our hearts for the Christ light to be born anew in us. Okay, so now for the Chrismon tree. What is a Chrismon tree? Well, it differs from a traditional Christmas tree by being decorated only with clear lights and chrismons, which are ancient symbols for Christ or aspects of his ministry, made from white and gold material. Examples of chrismons include doves and fish and Celtic crosses and Jerusalem crosses and shepherd's crooks and chalices and shells, etc., etc., etc. Of course, music. Well, music features greatly in Advent, and many churches hold special music events, such as my favorite, 9 lessons and carols, and of course, the singing of Handel's Messiah. Now, before I talk about Advent wreaths and candles, I'm going to discuss liturgical colors. Beginning around the 13th century, the traditional color in Western Christianity for Advent has been purple, and it's often used for the clothing of the clergy and the tabernacle. Hence, yours truly is donned out in purple today. On the third Sunday of Advent, known as Gaudete Sunday, Gaudete, it's a Latin word meaning rejoice, rose-colored pink may be used instead of purple. And in some denominations, blue, representing hope, is used instead of purple. Now to Advent wreaths and candles. Advent wreaths originated in Germany in the 16th century. However, it wasn't until the 19th century that the modern Advent wreath with its candles representing the Sundays of Advent was introduced. To teach patience in children who were anxiously and excitedly awaiting Christmas, a pastor in Germany made a ring of wood with 19 small red taper candles and 4 large white candles. Every morning, a small candle was lit, and on Sunday, one of the larger candles was lit. Now, over the years, the larger candles are the only ones that remain. The smaller ones, the smaller candles being discontinued. Now, traditionally, the wreath crown in which the candles are placed it's made of fir tree branches decorated with ribbon and pine cones and laurel, holly, and sometimes mistletoe. Well, mistletoe, right? And when we think of mistletoe, we think of what? We think of Christmas kisses. So if you decorate your Advent wreath, your Advent candle holder with mistletoe, it's perfect for smooching with your honey. But the crown, what does it symbolize? It symbolizes victory. And the round form of the wreath symbolizes the sun's orbit and its return each year. And the green twigs, they are a sign of life and hope. And the fir tree is a symbol of strength. And the laurel, a symbol of victory over suffering. Holly, laurel, and mistletoe represent the eternity of God. And the flames, the beautiful flames of the candles, they represent the approaching light of the Christ, bringing hope and peace, that Christ light within us, which gets to be born anew during this wondrous season. Now, the largest wreath in the entire world can be found in Kaufbeuren. Yes, I had to practice several times in saying that, so let me say it again. Kaufbeuren, Kaufbeuren, Bavaria, Germany. Now, it has a diameter of 8 meters, and obviously it is not appropriate for home use. Now let's talk about the color of the candles in the Advent wreath. Traditionally, there are 3 purple or blue candles and 1 rose pink candle. The pink candle is lit on the 3rd Sunday of Advent, Gaudete, Rejoicing Sunday. And some add a 5th candle, which is white, known as the Christ candle. We love that, don't we? Because we light our Christ candle every single Sunday on our Facebook Live and in person. when we meet in person. And that is placed in the middle of the wreath, and it's to be lit on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Now, all this is just for your information, so you know what the traditional colors are. But of course, you are free to put whatever color of candles you like in your Christmas wreath. So now we have a history of Advent. But how does Advent relate to unity? Charles Fillmore, Unity co-founder, spoke of unity and Advent in a radio broadcast almost 100 years ago in 1923, and it was entitled Christ Mind, the Second Coming of Christ. And in this broadcast, he shared his understanding that Christ is an idea in divine mind, highlighting that the Christ, the divine essence, dwells in all people. Advent provides an opportunity for us in unity to contemplate aspects of our divine nature. Each Sunday has a different theme: hope, peace, joy, and love, inviting us to reflect upon how we may share these divine gifts. Today, being Advent Sunday, the theme is hope, and so we're going to light the Advent candle for hope. And I don't have any greenery on this Advent wreath yet. I just got this, and our Christmas decorations aren't up yet, so hopefully next week we'll have some more greenery in there. And this, just want to show you, is our Christ candle. So we're going to light the candle for hope. In the Unity Advent booklet for 2020, there is a reading on hope by Reverend Karen Romastan, which I'm going to use as our Advent contemplative prayer thought for today. Hope calls me to live in the movement of divine order, trusting that all is well in this very moment. Hope builds evidence of this order as I watch the seasons move from the brilliant blooms of spring to the sunny days of summer to the colors of fall as the earth prepares for the oncoming winter, only to return ablaze with life once more come spring. Hope calls from the depth of sadness when I hear the cries of the world engage in rage against itself. Hope enlivens me to loving kindness as I witness compassion one for another. Hope instills possibility in my heart with the dawning of each new day. Hope grows and faith emerges. I see the hand of God in the working out of my days and hours and the spreading fingers of grace throughout the years of my life. The gracious hand of God when prayer seems unanswered. Hope grows rooted in truth. Hope grows beyond the field of unknowing and emerges as the exquisite expression of God's law shaping our world. And from Hebrews chapter 6 verse 19, we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. And so, beloveds, will you affirm with me 3 times? On this day of Advent, I anchor my soul firmly and securely in hope. On this day of Advent, I anchor my soul firmly and securely in hope. On this day of Advent, I anchor my soul firmly and securely in hope. And so it is. Yes, beloveds, and so it is. And so we send out the blessings of hope to every man, woman, child, every sentient being around our beautiful planet, affirming that in this season of Advent, hope is born anew in each of us. And so now, beloveds, it is time for our financial blessings. I want to say a prayer of blessings over everyone who chooses to be part of our beloved Unity of Tempe community by contributing their financial blessings. We are so very, very grateful for you. There is no amount too big and no amount too small. Loving Mother, Father, God, we affirm blessings, blessings, blessings to each and every person who chooses to partner with us at Unity of Tempe. Yes, we do. Financial prosperity reigning forth in the lives, in the activity and the actions of each and every person who contributes. We see absolutely each person being showered with prosperity, with love, with hope, with peace and gratitude. And we are so grateful, so very, very grateful. And so it is. Amen. As we give, we receive. As we give, we receive. As we give, we receive. Yes. And so it is. Now, beloveds, please join me in the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. All is well, and we are grateful. Yes, beloveds, I am so very, very grateful for each of you, and I affirm for all of us a week filled with the wonder of hope. I love you. Have a magnificent week.